Hey everyone, this is Leo Young from Impressive Reviews, and episode, I would say 5, because I just did the Supergirl one. No, wait, this would be episode 4, I'm sorry. And today we are going over Arrow, Season 5, Episode 2, titled The Recruits. So, really, I can't, I missed the first episode. I will not lie about that. I did not see it. I don't really know anything about the first episode or how the season even started. However, I probably will not go over that just because I'm already behind on everything. So, yeah, sorry about that, everyone. But I will make it up to you with a Legends of Tomorrow video, which will be coming tomorrow. And the reason that's not coming today is because we're a little bit behind. I promise next week we will step up our game and you will get a video or a review just about every day, and maybe it won't be me. We might have another person coming in to help out with the reviews. Um, as for the show itself, it was great. It's not giving me that vibe from season 4. It's actually giving me a season 1 and 2 thing, and that's probably because I'm seeing like people like Mr. Terrific and Ragman and all that. They're really like interesting characters to see, but I can't wait to see how they evolve. Anyways, let's get straight into it, and spoilers up ahead. Enjoy. So the show opens up with Mad Dog chasing someone off a roof, and since he's a new guy, he even said he's been doing this for a few months. He falls off. Not like he just like falls off, but he tries to do a parkour jump, and his foot gets caught. And as he falls, Arrow catches him magically with an arrow. And doing that, we switch over to Arrow taking Mad Dog back to the cave where Felicity, Curtis, and wow, I do not remember that other girl's name. Basically, it's the other brown-haired female on the team who was originally, well, the quote-unquote Black Canary. After she had passed, she became Artemis, basically Artemis from Young Justice. That's right. I don't know how CW even came up with that idea, but they went through with it, and it looks like it may be working. She hasn't actually used the bow and arrows, so when she does, you're gonna have to look out because there's a new female archer on the team. Sorry. Anywho, so the team is basically Wild Dog, Artemis, and Mr. Terrific. I don't fully remember their real names. I know that Curtis Holt is the Mr. Terrific character, and they're basically training with him. And the training that Arrow makes them do is that he makes them run at them to get to a bell, and he basically knocks them out. He wants them to learn about teamwork, but they're not really getting it. They're doing it one on one, and for that they keep on failing. Now, there's this other storyline. I think there would be about 2 or 3 other storylines because there's another storyline where Diggle is basically with the military, and I'm just going to give a quick rundown. He's with the military. He's prepping someone up. He's a sergeant, and as he's going through like this area over in the Middle East, his unit is killed off by another like U.S. military group who's betraying and trying to get a WMD. I'm sorry, to protect America. As one of those people. But they explain the reason is, and they actually use the same reason from Suicide Squad. The magic users and the metahumans. They're too dangerous, and this is their own. This is like one of their only like ways of protection. So that's the entire Diggle like scene for this episode. Anywho, back in Star City, Oliver and Thea are having a mayoral meeting to get an investment with Amertech for a clinic they plan on starting up. Um, and Amertech CEO says yes. And I want to just note that the CEO is a woman. It's not John Henry Irons, aka Steel, which I guess makes sense. I guess. Anyways, Thea is also still not on Team Arrow. But again, I'm just saying this because I don't know if Thea was in episode 1. I am going to watch it tomorrow and get my bearings straight so I don't be saying the same thing over and over again. Um so anyways, later that night in the same episode, Arrow calls these people out to train them. And well, there's this little funny quick scene where he goes like, "Felicity, why are you not wearing a mask?" And she's like, "I'm not doing that." So again, they go back to training. They get their butts beat, and no, that's really just about it. They just wanted to show you that they are not ready. And even Arrow goes off to say they're not ready. Back up in Star City, probably a day or two later, um, Arrow is still training them. But it's he okay. So the entire main reason he's training them like this is because of the Bravata, the Russian group that he was a part of, and the way they trained him was so much harsher. So he's using that same system to do the same. Anyways, as he's doing that, Felicity calls him and goes like, "Hey, there's an event going to be happening tomorrow. We're going to need some people to watch the gates." And so Felicity gets him to bring the recruits with him to the event, and that's basically where it all goes down to crap. Because during the event, Ragman attacks the CEO of Amertech, and Mad Dog basically attacks him, but he doesn't get anywhere. Ragman disappears. Mad Dog gets some evidence though, but that's not enough because when they get back, Oliver goes on all of them, and he's he pretty much brings it up that it's all because of Laurel's death. He's like the last person who did this that was not trained was Laurel, and now she's dead. So Felicity, seeing the use of the evidence that Mad Dog got, grabbed or brought the the piece of rag to her boyfriend Billy Malone, who's a detective at the SCP Star City Police Department, the SCPD. Back over at wherever they are, Oliver walks in on Thea and Quentin, the detective, and they both agree that he's been drinking. In fact, Thea even says he was the one who was supposed to be watching the door that Ragman went through. And since he wasn't there, that entire debacle happened. Um, Later on, because they really wanted to just, this show is the recruits. They really want to just nail on the recruits because later on, Oliver returns to the cave. Everybody except for Curtis is gone, and then Curtis even like explains to them that Thea, Speedy, John, everyone trusted him, but they didn't really because they left. And then Curtis said he's out too, so he leaves because he's not a good mentor and they don't trust him. So Oliver reflects on what Curtis said, feeling like less of a leader. Then Felicity comes in, gives him that speech about how the real him is the best him. And the real him isn't the Arrow, it's Oliver. He is passionate and he loves his city. So Oliver, in return, explains that the the Bravata, I can't really say the name, but he explains how their training was meant to keep people from gaining personal attachments, to keep them safe. And that's what he was trying to do by keeping the mask on. So in the inner city, Thea finds that the CEO of Amertech is dealing weapons with the church, one of Green Arrow's other villains from probably 2 seasons ago. And so Oliver, Thea, and Felicity have a meeting to discuss the meeting between Amertech and church and to see why Amertech is doing this. And then, well, Felicity basically goes off saying they went bankrupt. And then she goes on to spill more knowledge on them that the rags that ragmen are using are over 2,000 years old. It's all magic and radioactive. And the reason is it's radioactive because the nukes that were released from the fourth season that Dark used attacked where Ragman was originally. So it all it all starts to make sense because Amertech made those nukes, Dark fired the nukes, and Ragman came out. Ragman is after the CEO because it even shows later that night Ragman attacks the CEO while Oliver comes in and attacks Church. Now Oliver comes in and he's killing everyone. He's beating these gangsters. But during the fight, he allows himself to get into trouble where Ragman saves him. And he basically lets the CEO go. And the two meet up on the roof, and Ragman tells how his father wrapped him in the rags to protect him from the nukes. And in the end, Arrow brings Ragman into the team. sorry, ignore that. But he brings Ragman into the team. And, well, that's basically that. However, there's a little small part where Quentin comes in, and Thea's like, she knows he's been drinking, and feels he can be a better person. So she asks him if he wants to work on Oliver's security detail. And he's a little skeptical about it, but she's like, he can do it. And he's all in. And in fact, he's not the only one who's all in because Oliver reveals his secret identity to the recruits. And it's all to bring them together, and they're all in. Curtis, Mad Dog, Artemis. Everybody is in. And now we have the new Team Arrow. Now the last scene is a quick scene, but you wouldn't know it was not Ragman. Because as Church is leaving a club inside Central Star City, Prometheus attacks him and threatens him not to kill the Arrow, or else he dies. And really, that's about all of it from what I'm remembering and from my notes. I'll give my personal thoughts in the video coming up after. Thanks, and enjoy. Hey everyone, this is Leo's personal thoughts, and well, there's really not much I can say. There's not much I'm thinking of about this episode except for Ragman and Prometheus look, I think they could have done better with that because with Ragman, you really just think of rags. Prometheus looks the same as Ragman. He looks like he's just a rag hooded figure. And if you know Prometheus from the comics, you would expect or you would recognize purple armor, the knightly look, and the one-armed archer. If you know who I'm talking about there. But this guy, yeah, I heard that some people will mistake Arrow for him, but he's not going to play that angle. He's going to be like, yeah, I'm not the Green Arrow, I'm Prometheus. Don't mistake me. Because one thing I didn't add at the end of the video is that he attacked Church by shooting his thugs with arrows. And Church automatically thought it was him. He thought it was time to fight again, but it wasn't. And one thing I want to just point out is that Prometheus almost killed Church. I think he went head to head with him. And Church fought Arrow head to head, and he was winning. So that should give a little hint that Prometheus isn't playing around. Now, the other thing is Artemis, or the girl who plays her. I'm really, because she didn't actually pick up a bow and arrow ever. She always used the canary cry and her weapons and all that. I think she even used a pistol. But that's last season. This season, I'm kind of curious as to how they're going to make her look, because there's only been one incarnation of her, and that was the Young Justice TV show. So they might just go with that, because it will be interesting. Because Thea wears a red. Okay, Thea looks like Arsenal. They both wear red leather-like suits, and Arsenal's coming back this season. So it would kind of make sense that Artemis looks like Green Arrow, so there'd be 2 green arrows and 2 red arrows. If that makes sense to you. But really that's about all my personal thoughts. Arrow's not much to think about because it's not like The Flash or The Legends of Tomorrow or Supergirl. I don't want to say it's a crime drama, but it's like Arrow. He goes out, he saves the city, and every time he does it, he creates more villains. It's not like The Flash, who goes out, he saves the city, but there's already more villains there. They've already been there. Or Legends of Tomorrow, there are villains all over. Or Supergirl, again, Cadmus. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Thanks for listening.